go ahead and clear everything out, and we're going to talk about creating our own functions with return values now. So for example, let's start off with something we've seen before, println, and let's say we want to print 4 plus 5 like this. We know that's going to be 9. Let's run it. We get 9, of course. Now let's suppose we want to call a different function which then prints. So we can say add nums 4, and this is actually kind of confusing inside of the println function. So let's print a result, and to get a result we have to declare it up here, 4 plus 5. So 4 plus 5 gets assigned to the variable result, which gets printed here, which should be 9. Let's just make sure that works. Yep, we get 9. Now let's add a step, and we're going to say add nums, and we're going to pass in 2 numbers, and we're going to get a value out, which is our result. So we're going to pass in 4 and 5. So what we're doing here is, if you remember say hi like this, we called it like this. We didn't pass anything in to say hi because we didn't need to. It was just printing something. But now we want to pass in 2 numbers, 4 and 5, into add nums. And so we're passing these in, so we need to create our add nums function. We don't have it yet. So let's do function add nums, and we're not going to say 4 and 5 here like this because this won't work. So we're passing in 4 and 5. These are the arguments to add nums, but the parameters down here we have to call them, or arguments, whatever you want to call them, we have to call them a variable name. So I'm going to say num1 and num2 like this. So we pass in 4 to add nums. 4 becomes num1, 5 becomes num2. And so inside of add nums, we want to return this num1 plus num2. So add nums allows us to make a little bit more of a generic function so that we can add any 2 numbers together. Of course you can do that with the plus sign, but this is just an example of how we can kind of abstract this for the future, and we'll see more examples of that coming up. So we add 4 and 5, num1 is 4, num2 is 5. So then what we want to say is num1 plus num2 like this. Now there's a couple issues here. The first issue I'm seeing is num1 and num2. If we try and run it like this, we're going to get a lot of errors. We'll start with that. Add nums, no value used as value. That's fine for now. Undefined num1, num2, and we're getting this because we have to give these a type. Just like we give a variable a type, like for example, if we declared like a number up here, if I say var val int equals 5, just like I declare a type here, I have to give the parameters of add nums a type. So num1 is an integer, num2 is an integer like this. So now we should get less errors, but we'll still get errors. Okay, we're getting closer. Num1 plus num2 is not used. So you're going to see we pass in 4 and 5 to add nums, num1, num2. In they come, we add them together, but we don't do anything with them after we add them together. So there's a couple options here. I'm going to kind of show you all these different ways this works. First, let's simplify this. So if in Go you have num1 int, num2 int like this, and they're both ints, you can get rid of the one of them and just say num1 comma num2. Now these are both integers. So it's just a shorthand for saying this. We can just get rid of that first int. So we know these are both ints coming in, and we add them together, but we need to return it so we can assign the value of this to result. Right now we're not returning anything, and we're trying to assign nothing to result, and we're printing nothing, so we're getting some errors here. To return something in Go, we just want to say return like this, and we're returning num1 plus num2. In this case 4 plus 5, which is 9. So let's kind of go over this whole thing. So we're having add nums, 4 and 5, we pass in, it comes down here, 4 is num1, 5 is num2, they're both ints, and we return 4 plus 5, which is 9. It gets assigned to result, and we print result, which is 9. Now this won't work, and let me see what the error is first. Let's show you the error. too many return values. Have int want nothing. So that's saying that we're returning an int from add nums, but we're not saying that we're returning an int. Right now we're saying we're returning nothing. To return something in Go, you have to put it at the end of the function here, and we have to say something like, if we want to return an int, we just say int. So whatever you're passing into the function, in this case 2 integers, goes here. Whatever you're returning from the function goes to the right of the parentheses and to the left of the brackets. In our case, we're returning the number 9, which is an integer. And now we should be able to run it. And we get 9. So one more time, we put in 4 and 5 to add nums, which come in as num1 and num2, which are integers. We're saying we're going to return an integer, and what we're returning is the first number plus the second number, 4 plus 5. We come up to result, we assign this, the return value of add nums, to the result, and then we print it, which we got 9. Now this will work for any integers, right? 3, 5. We run it now, we get 8. So this is a way to kind of abstract this addition. Of course, we can do any numbers we want, right? 77 and 5 should give us 83. Math? 82. Math, right? I remember the stuff. 50 and 5 should give us 55. Running, yep, 55. So again, just a way to abstract this. Of course, you can do the same for subtract nums, right? So if I say func sub nums, and I want to do the same kind of style, I can do this, return an int, and I can say return num1 minus num2. So same setup as add nums, just instead of addition, we're doing subtraction. So I could say result 2 sub nums, and I want to say 50 and 5. And now let's print this, result 2. So now we're getting the result of add nums in result, the result of subtract nums in result 2. So 50 plus 5, 55, 50 minus 5, 45. So we should print 55 and 45. Let's run it. 55, 45, perfect.